British Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines Executive Director Chris Nelson, officers and members of the British Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, officers of Santos Knight Frank, ladies and gentlemen, good day everyone. On behalf of the Department of Tourism, I would like to extend my thanks to the British Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines and Santos Knight Frank for the invitation to grace this forum. We are now a year and a half into our collective battle against the COVID-19 pandemic, and a lot of uncertainties still linger. Through this forum, organized primarily for the benefit of the hotels and accommodation sector and its related industries, we hope to shed more light on what lies ahead. It could be said that the performance of a country's hotels, resorts, and other accommodation establishments provide an accurate look into the performance of that nation's tourism industry as a whole. A healthy occupancy rate is often a good sign that all is well in the tourism industry. But the COVID-19 experience has shown a drop in tourism activity, which led to fewer business opportunities for the travel sector, fewer hotel rooms for leisure being filled, and several jobs and livelihoods at risk. As such, we must all work together to find common solutions to our problems. While I'm here today to provide a brief overview about the outlook for Philippine tourism and the state of the industry's ongoing recovery, I would also like to take this opportunity to thank everyone in the accommodation sector for the continued support you have provided the DOT and the national government during this crisis. The use of your hotel properties as quarantine and isolation facilities has been critical in our efforts to bring home stranded OFWs and other overseas Filipinos immediately following the outbreak and up to the present day. As of September 3, 2021, there were already 644 accommodation establishments being used as quarantine facilities, while 88 AEs are being used as isolation hotels, and there are 114 multiple-use hotels nationwide. Again, we cannot thank you enough for this much-needed logistical support. Hotels in the city have also provided a welcome respite for many Filipinos experiencing cabin fever. Those who have grown weary of being confined to their own homes for extended periods due to the quarantine. By developing packages for hotel staycations and wellness workations, city dwellers got a chance to relax, recharge, and reboot in a fresh new environment while still complying with the prescribed health and safety protocols. The hotel industry has shown its ability and willingness to adapt to change in order to survive into the new normal. Despite all the challenges and hurdles that we have faced together over the past year, the DOT remains cautiously optimistic about the prospects of tourism in 2021 and beyond. To revive the industry, the DOT focused on encouraging domestic tourism. It's a strategy that we strongly believe in because over the last few years, we have developed a very strong domestic tourism base, which can drive travel demand for many of our destinations, even in the absence of foreign tourists. During tourism's peak in 2019, there were about 110 million domestic trips taken, far outweighing the number of international arrivals, which hit 8.26 million that year. Based on the travel survey conducted by the DOT in partnership with the Asian Institute of Management, Dr. Andrew L. Tan Center for Tourism, and Guide to the Philippines, the Filipinos' desire to travel remains strong even during the pandemic. Majority of the respondents said that travel would help them with their physical and mental well-being and relieve them of cabin fever. The intention to travel is there. So the next challenge is getting Filipinos to actually travel in the midst of a pandemic. To address that, we are taking proactive steps such as identifying interregional and intra-regional tourism circuits that support the pivot towards domestic tourism. We've also conducted inspections and validation trips with the intent of ensuring the proper launching of these circuits. We currently have 44 developed circuits across the country, and 71 more in the pipeline. They cover the demands of travelers in the new normal, such as nature-based tourism, cultural tourism, farm and culinary tourism, sun and beach tourism, and dive tourism. Of course, we are aware that some remain hesitant to travel due to lingering concerns of their health and safety. This is why, as an active member of the IATF, the Department of Tourism is working together with other national government agencies, local government units, stakeholders, and the private sector to ensure that the minimum health and safety protocols are implemented. More significantly, the vaccination of our tourism workforce is now underway nationwide, which is aimed at protecting not only our workers and stakeholders, but also the tourists and guests that they serve. In the National Capital Region, 98.48% of our tourism workers in accommodation establishments used as quarantine hotels, isolation hotels, and multiple use hotels, part of the A1 priority group in the national vaccination drive, have been vaccinated as of September 3. For the tourism workers working in regular hotels, 98.84 have been vaccinated. Other tourism enterprises and tourism support services that comprise the A4 priority group, our vaccination rate is at 90.83%. Nationwide, the inoculation rate for tourism workers in the A1 category is already at 89.49%, while the rate for those in the A4 and other tourism enterprises and tourism support services is at 47%. With other countries ramping up their own vaccination drives, we are increasingly hopeful. I cannot help but feel inspired at the success of the vaccination program in the United Kingdom, where nearly 65% of the population have been fully vaccinated as of the end of August of 2021. As other nations follow suit, it may just be a matter of time before international leisure travel picks up. So we are now carefully considering the next steps in regard to international arrivals. We are proud to share that the Philippines has been chosen to host the 21st World Travel and Tourism Council Global Summit, which is targeted to take place in the first quarter of 2022. The WTTC Global Summit is widely considered as the most influential event for travel and tourism professionals and stakeholders. It provides opportunities for industry leaders to meet with key policymakers and address the most pressing and important issues faced by the global travel and tourism industry. Besides strengthening the country's position as a competitive MICE destination in Asia, we are certain that the hosting of the WTTC Global Summit will provide another major stepping stone towards the full recovery of our travel and tourism industry. While we have been greatly encouraged by these recent developments, we continue to bear in mind that we must not cut corners in our road to recovery. Throughout the pandemic, we have committed to taking a gradual, safe, and sustainable approach towards recovery. We shall continue on this steady and calculated pace as necessary. Fostering strong public-private partnerships and sound investments anchored on sustainable development will be critical in the post-pandemic tourism recovery. With the support of the national and local governments and our partners in the private sector, the DOT will continue to strive for the recovery of Philippine tourism. We will soon be welcoming back tourists and filling up your hotel rooms. Together, we shall walk on the road back to business and attain our shared vision for a new and better normal, one that is resilient, inclusive, and sustainable. Our deepest gratitude again to the British Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines and Santos Knight Frank for the opportunity to present the Department of Tourism's position through this forum. Thank you and mabuhay.